In this video, we will cover identifying work and developing the associated costs. FEMA classifies the type of work into various categories. Become familiar with them so damages can be grouped into similar categories as you go forward. As you document damages, try to separate them out. This will give you a better overview and ensure damages aren't overlooked. Provide the dimensions of the damaged area along with any quantities you can identify. For example, if a road was washed out, you will need to provide the length, width, and depth of the washout, along with the volume of material needed to fill it in. Now let's help with identifying the work required to restore facilities back to pre-disaster condition. Damage can only be claimed due to the actual event and not some underlying circumstance. Be aware that you may be asked to show proof that a facility has been maintained. For example, if you experienced flooding due to a plugged culvert and it was later found to have a tree growing out of it, FEMA may take the stance that the culvert had not been regularly or properly maintained and deny reimbursement for damages. Having up-to-date maintenance records would be beneficial to assist in any appeal of a negative decision. Exact location information is extremely important. This will be required as the process moves along, so it is better to capture it early. Grouping similar types of damages using FEMA's categories of work is the most efficient way to organize your damage assessment. It will prevent you from omitting damages you have documented along the way and give you a look at the different qualifying costs. The applicant must demonstrate that the damage was caused directly by the incident. FEMA does not provide PA funding for repair of damage caused by deterioration, deferred maintenance, negligence, or failure to take measures to protect the facility from future damage. Providing up-to-date maintenance records will help demonstrate that the damage was related to the event. See chart on this slide for examples. FEMA takes into consideration whether a disaster-impacted facility has active insurance coverage. The applicant should provide a copy of the applicant's insurance policy and other related documentation, such as the insurance adjuster's report. Some applicants may have a requirement to obtain and maintain insurance on a facility for which they previously received public assistance funding. If the applicant has failed to do so, that facility is ineligible for assistance, and FEMA will not consider the damage to that facility in the damage assessments. For damage assessments, emergency repair of a facility is ineligible if another federal agency has the specific authority to provide assistance, even if the repair is temporary. Examples are shown on this slide. Not all work that needs to be done will be eligible for public assistance funding. Some examples are shown here with more guidance available in FEMA's latest version of the Public Assistance Program and Policy Guide, commonly referred to as the PAPA G. Your DSH's representative can assist you with this guide when necessary. Provide as much documentation as possible to justify your cost estimate. Force account labor costs can include fringe benefits paid. You will need to show how fringe rates were calculated and applied. Equipment, including vehicles used in both response and recovery efforts, can be claimed. Let's use the example of a truck towing a trailer hauling a backhoe to a work site. Costs which can be claimed are the travel to and from the work site for the truck and trailer, and the hours the backhoe was in use at the work site. Costs for materials used in repairs already made can be claimed whether they were pulled from on-hand stock or purchased new. For example, roof damage required 6 squares of shingles to be replaced. 4 squares were taken from stock, while 2 were purchased. The original cost of the 4 squares can be used if the invoice for the purchase is available. Alternatively, their replacement value can be based on the price of the 2 squares recently purchased. For repairs yet to be made, gather dimensions of the damaged area along with the quantity of materials needed for the repair to obtain a quote for the work. Applicants do not need to follow procurement procedures for contracting services on emergency work. However, they do for permanent work. Provide actual cost or the cost estimate of all contracts and contractor bids or invoices. If you have questions about cost for contracting services, please contact your county or DISH's representative for more guidance. Work done by a mutual aid entity is generally eligible for emergency work or emergency utility restoration under either Category B or F. In your damage assessment, include cost to transport the mutual aid entity's equipment and personnel to the incident area, as well as straight time and overtime labor, including fringe benefits, for the mutual aid entity's personnel. Funding eligibility for the use of a mutual aid entity's equipment is based on either the terms of the mutual aid agreement or FEMA equipment rates. Funding to repair damage to this equipment is provided in the same way as funding for damage to applicant-owned equipment. If you have questions about cost for mutual aid, please contact your county or DISH's representative for more guidance. Also, please be aware, estimates should be made by a knowledgeable resource, such as a licensed engineer or other professional. This slide lists costs that are not eligible for PA funding. Therefore, they will not be considered during the damage assessment. You may also have costs that could be eligible for PA, but are not counted toward the damage assessment. Codes and standards are typically not included in damage assessments, but can be explored on an exceptional case-by-case basis when they dramatically increase cost. Every potential applicant will provide their damage assessment report package to their respective county emergency manager. These reports can be aggregated and summarized into a master document that will then be submitted to DISH's for review. DISH's may reach back out directly to either the county or the potential applicant for clarification on work or cost being claimed. Please respond back as quickly as possible, as we have a tight time frame for damage submissions. In conclusion, we remind you again to document everything, even damages discovered after your damage assessment report is submitted. Gather timesheets, maintenance records, receipts, invoices, vehicle logs, etc. A description of the damage along with accurate dimensions and quantities will be needed. Expect questions from us if they are missing. Capture the scene with plenty of pictures. Visually tell us your story using a combination of long-range and close-up photos. On behalf of the New York State Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Services, thank you for watching our series on damage assessments. If you have any additional questions following these presentations, please send an email to pasupport@dishes.ny.gov.